What's going on, guys? Today I just wanted to make a really quick video on how I make removable table legs the easy way. So a lot of requests I get if I got to make a dining room table is if I can make the dining legs removable. A lot of customers ask that, and if you're into woodworking and making furniture, it's definitely good to have the ability to do that in case you get asked. So let's jump into how I do this. This is the easiest way I've been able to come up with, and it's worked out great so far, so let's jump into it. So I'm actually building this dining room table for a customer in Iowa. So it's like 3/4 of the way across the country, and I gotta ship it. So that's why they're getting removable table legs. I've done 3 of them, and I figured I'd make a quick video on how I do this last one. So for starters, I laid this all out, evened out all the legs and the aprons. And when I did that, I marked out where the aprons went, and the aprons got fastened down. So these aren't moving. They're connected to the table. They're staying there. I did connect them with these little L brackets, and I did not glue them or anything because of expansion and contraction. So they're just on there with these L brackets, and then once these angles get in that hold the table legs, it's super strong. The brackets or the aprons aren't going anywhere. So once you have your aprons in place and all laid out, this is the next step. Take your table leg. My aprons are 3 inches wide, so I used a 1/4 inch chamfer bit, and I went up about 2.5 to 3 inches on that, just to give it a flat surface to reference off of. So what I do is get this in place. Once it's in place and even where you want it, take a pencil and just reference this flat mark. Doesn't have to be pretty, just make a little mark there. Then you can take that off. Then you're going to want to get a 90-degree square, put it on that. And then I have about a 2.5 inch wide thick of 3/4 inch plywood. I put a kerf in here, and I'll show you why later. That's completely optional, you don't have to do that. What I do now is, with that on the mark, place this up there even as you can get it. Once that's there, hold it and then mark it under here. This is going to reference where you need to make the cuts. Alright, now with that cut, you fit it in there and it should line up with that mark, which it does. Then I'm going to screw pilot bits for right here, and this is going to attach to the aprons. Alright, then I'm going to take 1.25 inch drywall screws, and I'm gonna glue this to the aprons. Just a little bit of glue just to sturdy it up. Alright, now with that in place, you're gonna take your table leg. Now that flat part should line up pretty good with this. Should butt right up to it. If there's a little gap there, that's completely fine, because it'll just draw it in better. And what you don't want is a gap here. So if anything, cut this a little long so it's spaced back, and that will draw your table leg in so there's no gaps in the aprons, because that would look like complete shit. So you'd rather have a gap here than there. Alright, now with that in place, you take that same pilot bit and you're going to go through this corner brace into that flat part that I chamfered. Now you got marks here and here. Now you know where to put the hanger bolts that I'm going to go over next. Alrighty guys, with my pilot holes drilled, now I'm going to be installing these hanger bolts. So what these are is they got normal thread on half the bolt. The other half is like a lag bolt. So I'm going to pre-drill these a little bigger. Then they're going to get screwed in like that. I'm going to put a little CA glue on here. So then that'll be permanently in there. And then just the threads will be shown. So let's do that now. If you have a drill press, you can make a little 45-degree jig to hold this in. And then they'll be straight. I don't, which they don't need to be perfectly straight, so it's not a big deal. If I did have a drill press, I probably would do that. My bolts are 3/8 hanger bolts. They're about 3 inches long. And I'll link all these in the description if you're interested. So definitely check them out. And I do get a little bit of kickback from Amazon if you use my link. So I'd appreciate if you did that. Amazon has enough money. And if you're enjoying this video, I'd appreciate the support. Okay, so I'm using a 5/16 drill bit because I have 3/8 hanger bolts. If your hanger bolts are a different size, you're going to have to use the correct drill bit. So, and I'm just going to eye this up and be straight as possible. It's not a big deal. Now what you're going to want to do is take the hanger bolt, screw on a nut a little way, screw on the other nut, put a wrench on it, and just tighten those two nuts together right on the end. Basically, you're creating a lag bolt, basically. Then what you're going to want to do is put a little CA glue in here to make this a stronger bond. Get it started with your hand, and take a socket or a wrench or an impact, whatever you got, and screw it in there until the lag bolt is butted down to the wood. Once it's butted down, you don't want to go too far because you don't want to strip all that out. That would really suck. Loosen that nut. And do the same thing on this one. Okay, now with them in there like that, we're going to go back over here and drill the holes through the plywood. Alright, now I'm going to use a 3/8 Forstner bit. Forstner bit is just going to give a clean hole without much splintering, which if you're selling this to a customer, you just want to make it as clean as possible. What I do is put this up to here, start your drill in reverse on both holes, and just give it some pressure and go in about 1/8 inch. Then you can turn your drill on to regular, and I go through about halfway. Repeat that exact same process on this side. Leaves you with 2 very clean holes. So this step is an optional step. I do it just especially since this is getting shipped. I use these little Z clips. That's why I put the kerf here. I'll link it below if you need it. This is a great way for attaching tabletops too. A lot of uses for them. And since I'm shipping it, it's just the strongest this thing can be, the better. Because I really don't want this to break in transit. That'll just help it, because once the lag's through here, if it ever gets any torque at the end, you know, that's a lot of leverage on that long table lag. So this just helps it with strength. And there you are, removable table lags, made super easy. This is the easiest way I've came up with. I did touch on this in a reclaimed dining table video I did, but I figured I'd make a dedicated video of it. When I first was doing it, I was kind of struggling finding how to do it, but this is the easiest, best way I've came up with, and it's super, super strong. So thanks for watching the video, guys. If you enjoyed it or it helped you out in any way, please hit that thumbs up button. The links to all the stuff I used will be linked in the description. And as always, subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.